Well, here's the aftermath from the Flamboro endurance race / demolition derby. And just so everybody knows, I didn't go there to do the demolition derby. I went there to do the race. But sometimes things don't work out the way they want. Like, do you remember when I wanted to go to Milton and I didn't make it to Milton? I ended up going to Lindsay instead, and I ended up doing really good in Lindsay. Well, sort of the same thing happened here. Now, the race started and the car was not actually running that good. This thing's had kind of a little bit of fuel tank issue the whole time. And when I was taking the corners at full speed, it felt like the car was running out of gas, but the fuel gauge still said half a tank of fuel. And when I went on the straight, it was to go up to 3/4. So I think the fuel was sloshing around inside the tank a bit. So that kind of sucks. It kind of sucked a lot. So I didn't really think that I was going to do that good in the race anyway. And then 7 laps into the race, they have a black flag, and you know what? Came out of the corner, I seen the black flag, and I stopped. Like I did. I think I was actually almost the last cars to stop, because where I was, there was no lights. And then out of nowhere, I got smoked. Like, I mean, smoked. So hard that pretty much all the damage right here was actually done by that one hit. It actually broke my spindle, ripped my brake line like this, so it was leaking there, ripped all my strut right off, tore everything out of this back corner on lap number 7. So I really didn't get that many laps, and to be honest, he actually hit me so hard that my seat broke and went underneath my cage, so that wasn't very good. And then he also hit me so hard that the battery came out of the tray and went down underneath the bottom stupid spot. I actually had to pull it out to get out of the track. Just to put that in perspective, I did a demolition derby with this car, and that battery stayed in the factory location. But he hit me so hard in the back that he knocked the battery off. I went up to him afterwards, after the race, and I said to him, "Hey man, you hit me pretty hard." I said, "I'm not mad at you. I just wanted to say, like, what happened." He told me what happened. I wasn't upset. He told me that he was coming around the corner and he was like side by side with another car, didn't see it, hit me. Stuff happens. I was a little bummed out. It cost me $150 to go into that race, and I only made it 9 laps. But you know what? That's my 3rd time going to that race, and it happens, right? It happens. So I had 193 laps left in the race to watch, and a time to work on this car. So I spent most of the time trying to get this wheel back up and put 9-wire around it as best as I could, because unfortunately I didn't really bring a spare strut to a race. So I have a ratchet strap in here that's not really doing anything. All my 9-wire is not really doing anything. Everything I have there is pretty much not doing anything. But it was worth a shot, and you know what? I figured it was worth a shot to try to fix it, to get back into the ring for the demolition derby. And first hit, all of it broke, and the tire went back to the position it was in. So I left the endurance race with my tire like that, and I left the demolition derby with my tire like that. If this was on dirt, I would have instantly got stuck, but this was on asphalt, and I didn't pop any of my front tires, even though they're not doubled, which I'm actually really surprised I didn't pop any of them. And these tires here actually kept me going on the asphalt. I was pretty happy about that. The skid plate, they okayed it to run, and they okayed it to demolition derby, but I think the skid plate saved the front of my car. The frame is garbage on this. The frame is absolute garbage. Both sides. So, do you guys remember what I said I was going to this race to do? And that was blow up the motor and make sure the frame stayed good? Do you guys remember that? Because apparently I forgot it, because the motor is great. The motor has never been better in its life, but my frame is garbage. Rear frame. Now, you guys got to remember, this car still has the factory gas tank underneath it. And why do I have the factory tank? Because if I had moved the factory tank inside of the car, it was completely different rules for the race. I had to build a firewall. I had to make sure that it was protected to the point where, not a gas tank protector, but protected. So pretty much everything is factory here. And I'm running factory fuel lines, factory brake lines to all 4 tires. I'm running factory wiring. I did not even, everything runs off the key. I had my filler neck back here, which kind of looks like it fell off, to be honest. Look at the rear subframe. That is rotted way right out in this. But the front of the car did good. I tried to save it as best as I could in the Demolition Derby. I really did. Look at the battery. The battery's just flopping around in there now. Because the factory battery tie down let go. That's how bone stock this is. I just have the factory battery tie down. But I don't know. I kind of really disappointed with myself because I said I wanted to kill the motor, kill the transmission. I did not want to damage the frame. And here I am with a motor that's fine, a transmission that's fine, and a frame that is garbage. I didn't even move any of the grounds, didn't move any wiring. That's my headlight plugs. The best part is I'm pretty sure the horn still works. Ready? Even the horn still works. So this is how bone stock the car is. When I won the Demolition Derby, I opened the door and got out. Oh well. Let's get this thing off the trailer and yeah, let's just get it off the trailer. Well, she's in the shop. It was actually a lot easier to get this thing into the shop than what I thought. What we're going to do is we're going to pull off the front tires. We're going to drop the motor out of it. We're going to save the subframe, cut the skid plate off, try to save that. I'd like to save all the struts. I'd like to save the strut bar. The motor and transmission, I believe, is being sold. My cage, the light, the fuel shutoff, my sign, the fire extinguisher, the 4-point harness. Maybe some fuses, just because I'm cheap and these fuses are pretty expensive. Even though I don't really run fuses, but that's not the point. But she's in the shop. She's even done a little bit of a burnout for us here today. And you know what? I can't really be mad at this thing. You know what? I bought the car and I wanted to take the V6 and get rid of it and put a 4-cylinder into it. And I said, you know what? We'll take it and we'll go off-road racing with it. I said, you know what? The wife has a habit of blowing stuff up. She'll take the radiator out on the first lap, and then, you know what? She'll blow this thing up. Don't worry about it, Zach. Well, she did all the racing, and it didn't blow up. So I was like, you know what? I'll off-road it. I took it through all the mud pits. I jumped it. I had launched this thing up at the mud bog, and I still didn't blow the motor up. I was like, you know what? Let's go do a 200-lap race, and it'll blow up. I said, you know what? Every car I've taken there is blowing up. It'll be fine. 7 laps in, I get smoked in the frame bends, and that was the #1 thing I did not want to happen. I did not want the frame to bend. And then I was like, you know what? I'm already here. I've paid my entry fees. I'm 2 hours away from home. Let's go in the Demolition Derby. I was like, all it will be other race cars. Boy, was I wrong. It was a lot of other thrill show mod kind of cars. There was some stock cars in there as well, but there was, I think, 3 pretty well-built 4-cylinder Camrys. And I still just drove, and I tried to be as sensible as possible. I knew if I lost these tires, I'd be done, so I tried to protect the tires. But I can't really be mad at it. I really can't. I tried to kill it. I really did, and I couldn't do it. I ended up bending the frame on this bone stock car before I even damaged the motor. So I think if I could figure out these V6s with the wiring a little bit better, that I think they'd be much tougher. Well, maybe not tougher, but they've got a lot more power, I'll tell you that. This V6 here has got some power. And the best part of it during the race, it still had all the heat and a radio. So I was still listening to the radio while racing. But, oh well. So this will be the last car I derby in 2018? 2018. This will be the last car. We have leftover cars from 2018 that we've still got to figure out. We still have a Rockton car here. And if you guys remember, this thing's been here since June. She's been tucked away. I still have Infected over here. So we still have some 2018 cars left over. Just got to figure out what to do with them. So this one here, I'm going to pull the motor out. I'm going to save a lot of parts off it. Mostly just the front end parts, because all those back end parts I'm pretty sure are garbage. But we're going to save a lot of parts and basically just stock up on stuff for 2019. 2019, yeah, that's right. So thanks for watching, guys. And I was wrong. I couldn't kill the motor. I couldn't kill the motor. I could kill the frame before I killed these V6 motors. I wonder if I can still pop the hood on this thing. So thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Look at that, the hood prop is still underneath here. You can't get any better than that. Still have cruise control too. Thanks for watching, guys. See you tomorrow.